So we knew Utah was on shaky ground, right? For the last 2 years. They've been bad. They've been doing things all the wrong way. The most fraudulent number 1 seed in the NBA. They've had early exits to Denver. They gave up a huge lead to the Clippers. Just a disastrous fashion after disastrous fashion. Their center from France shut down the entire NBA because he wanted to cough on every single random mic that he could find, making fun of, I don't know, probably one of the worst pandemics we've ever had in history. He didn't know that, so that's fine. That leads to tension between him and Donovan Mitchell, and that has continued on and spiraled out of control to the point where now we have new ownership like D-Wade coming in, trying to assuage things, trying to massage things between Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, which is not working because he only passes Rudy Gobert the ball one time a fucking game. Front office changes. Don't know if we can cuss on this. Don't know. So I don't know. Not sure. And now it's very obvious that things are officially off the rails in Utah. Utah Jazz news. There's news. Woj bomb. This is the bomb. This is the sound of the Woj bomb. Quinn Snyder, head coach of the Utah Jazz, has decided to step down with 2 years left on his $2 million a year contract. That's very nice of him to do, because this is what he had to say. I strongly feel that Utah needs a new voice to continue to evolve. That's it. No philosophical differences, no other reason. Just after 8 years, I feel it's time to move onward. I needed to take time to detach after the season and make sure this was the right decision. I don't know about y'all, but it's pretty generous of Quinn Snyder to decide to give up $4 million of money into his own bank account for the good of the franchise, because they need a new voice to evolve. Absolute mensch move. I've never seen that one time before in my life where someone steps away from the game, has no other intentions to coach or do anything else. They just said, listen, I think you guys need more than what I can provide to you. So I'm going to step away and let you guys blossom alone. It's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me. Oh boy. For those of you who don't know this, Donovan Mitchell and Quinn Snyder are very tight. Extremely tight. Mitchell decided to extend his contract for 5 years because Quinn Snyder was there. That's a very large reason that he decided to sign that deal. And now he's probably not excited, can't be excited about his leader leaving a seemingly sinking ship. And in the background before this, there was already a ton of speculation that Donovan was already on the brink of forcing his way out of Utah. So now that Quinn is out, I wonder if anyone's checked in on Donovan Mitchell. See how he's feeling about all this. See what itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. No, that's rude. Donovan Mitchell is reportedly surprised and disappointed following Quinn Snyder's resignation as the head coach of the Utah Jazz, sources told Woj. Sources also describe Mitchell as unsettled, unnerved, and wondering what it means for the franchise's future. Have you guys ever worked at a job where you have a manager who may or may not have recruited you, but that's your direct manager? And then all of a sudden, he's like, hey, need you to hop on a Zoom call. He sends you a random Saturday afternoon calendar invite. And he's like, and you're like, I wonder what this is. And then this isn't good. Either I'm in trouble or something weird's happening. And then you get on the call on a random Monday and he's like, hey, this is my last week. And you're like, wait, hold on. And he's like, yeah, I got this really great other opportunity. Has nothing to do with you guys. What's going on around here didn't play into it at all. Just feel like you guys need a new voice. And I need some time as well to step away to some new things. And then you're like, I'm happy for you. But what does this mean for me? I kind of came here thinking that it was me and you with this. Is there something about the business you don't know? Or that you know that I don't know? Something that I should know? Like, that's Donovan Mitchell right now. Donovan Mitchell is everyone when his boss decides to leave 2 years left in his contract. What? Wait, why? Because we need a new voice? I like this current voice. And by the way, I was already thinking about dip setting, so now I'm really fucking gone. Because what if I don't like this new boss? I'm starting to evaluate other options. You know what I'm saying? Things are not going swimmingly in Utah, obviously. The existing tensions between Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell apparently were refueled during this playoffs when Gobert decided to bus toss Donovan Mitchell at the end of the season. This is what Rudy Gobert had to say about the quote-unquote Utah Jazz, which was, let's be honest, a ricochet shot at Donovan Mitchell. A quote, "We all know," I wish I had a French accent, "we all know that when playoffs come, we're not going to just flip a switch and all of a sudden communicate and all of a sudden be able to stay in front of our man, all of a sudden be able to rebound. When I watch some of these other teams like the Suns or the Warriors, for example, those guys are a step ahead of us in terms of winning habits." That's so fucked up. I feel like they take the game personally. You can tell Devin Booker is playing his ass off defensively. I've been watching him compared to like 2 years ago. Guys like that, they buy in. You can tell they take pride in playing defense. They take pride in stopping their man, doing whatever they can defensively to stop the other team and be a part of a winning culture. Folks, you know Rudy Gobert's not talking about himself because he's already won Defensive Player of the Year twice. So who must he be talking about? I don't know. Maybe Donovan Mitchell, who has become more and more a turnstile for this Utah Jazz defense. Rudy bitching about Donovan Mitchell not playing defense when actually in all factual basis, the Clippers series that they ended up getting bounced from was because of him. Like, he wasn't able to rotate out into the perimeter. But that's a story for another day. All that means is that the tensions aren't getting any cooler. Things aren't getting any better. Apparently, Spider was furious about that. He has all the power in Utah. His camp basically is in charge right below ownership. Him and Danny Ainge, his camp and Danny Ainge are basically on the same level. And sources say Donovan Mitchell was fucking furious. Of course. He told Tim McMahon that Gobert violated locker room protocols by publicly pointing a finger at his teammate. Yeah, I mean, this isn't Kobe and Shaq, folks. Like, there's no on-court success to keep this thing afloat. So now Quinn Snyder's probably off to, I don't know, like Bali to do some Eat, Pray, Love or something. Like, get clean. Go to the Hoffman Institute in the Bay Area, start doing some inner child work. I don't know what he's up to. While the Jazz are simultaneously imploding, rumors are Jazz are now going to fill their head coaching position fast. Candidate number 1, because I love this stuff. Candidate number 1, Terry Stotts, former Portland Trailblazers head coach. Apparently friends with Quinn Snyder, actually came in to a practice at Snyder's invite early this season to, quote-unquote, observe games and practices for a week. It's like when my boss has another person who's, like, in our Zoom meeting. I'm like, who's that? He's like, who's that? He's like, oh, no, that's just Brandon. Brandon's just integrating in. He's just wanting to learn a couple of things. It's like, is Brandon going to be doing your job at some point? What's happening here? Who are you, interloper? What's happening? Seems like a wise... Excuse me. I need to know more information. I'm not comfortable with all these new people around while I'm the little dog engulfed in flames. Like, everything's going to be fine. Also, it seems like a pretty wise decision to recruit Terry Stotts to run this franchise and this team, considering he was fired for his team not playing defense. So to go to a team that struggles with playing defense feels like a perfect fit to me. But hey, you look at him. Just take a look at him. If you're listening on the Odyssey app right now, just do a quick little Google search on your alternate screen to Terry Stotts if you don't know what he looks like. He fits all the boxes for Provo, Utah. Like, he just fits it right down to the T. He's the kind of guy, 100%, and I love Terry Stotts, nice guy, 100% the kind of a guy who thinks, he's like, yeah, I did something crazy tonight. And you're like, what'd you do? I ordered medium salsa tonight instead of the mild. And you're like, oh, really? I thought you were going to say something. It's like you're sitting in the Uber, and I'm like, hey, do you see that sign on that cab right next to us? That's a kink cab. And he goes, a what? A what? Never forget this, because the Portland Trailblazer fans do. The Blazers had the worst defense in all of basketball in a year that had statistically the worst defensive year in NBA history. So by the power of deduction, Terry Stotts' team, the last year before he was fired, had the worst defense in NBA history. And now he's possibly going to take over a team that already struggles with defensive assignments and schemes. Like, he's going to come in and fix Donovan Mitchell being basically what, I don't know, Damian Lillard is? What? If anyone from Utah is listening, which I'm sure they're not, do not hire Terry Stotts. Do not. Another name being kicked around is David Fizdale, which I actually like that idea. He loves defense, that grit and grind Memphis team that he had. Not only is he tight with Donovan Mitchell, but he worked for a long time in Miami with Dwayne Wade, minority owner of the Utah Jazz, who I think is going to be pulling a lot more strings. Apparently, he's been unhappy with the way that Utah has done their job. Gonna need that in order for the Jazz to track free agents to a place. Honestly, like, this place is so bad. This place is so uptight. Utah they're limiting the amount of coffee shops in Utah because caffeine is such a sin. And what do you think free agents are going to do in Utah? If they can't even order a medium latte, like, that's as hot as it gets there, it's going to be tough. Mark Stein is also reporting that Danny Ainge, get this, guys, Danny Ainge has his eyes on, drum roll please, Yes, sir, Brad Stevens. What? Yes! I love this idea so much. Hire a guy who couldn't win with 2 All-Stars to the point that you had to break them up almost, that was getting batted around, to running a team with 2 All-Stars who can't stand each other. What could go wrong? In a place with almost no venues for those 2 stars to let off steam when the tensions get high? With one of the worst, most volatile, most hostile fan bases in all of the NBA. Trader Danny and Brad, obviously they're a match in heaven. Pretty sure, because Danny Ainge, for those who don't know, is Mormon. Utah, Mormon state. But I mean, it's like where they all go, besides Mesa, Arizona. If you like warm climate and you're Mormon, you go to Mesa. If you're okay with cold, you go to Utah. So if you did a 23andMe on Brad Stevens, I'm pretty sure you would see that he was genetically a Utahan. Like, he's genetically from Utah. As for Donovan Mitchell, like, truthfully, I think he's gone. Why would he stay? You think about this guy. He's from New York. He plays basketball in college at Louisville, which I just heard has like 4 restaurants and no black people. And then he ends up going from Louisville to Utah, which has like 4 restaurants and no black people. So, yeah, I want to get the hell out of there. I want to see some things. I want to see the world. I want to be like Jasmine on the Aladdin rug. Like, somebody show me things. CJ McCollum actually went on First Take today, the NBPA president. I wanted to get the clip for you guys, but ESPN found a way to get rid of it because it could have been seen as tampering. They asked CJ McCollum whether he thought Donovan Mitchell would want out of New York, and what he answered was, because I've got great memory and I just listened to it, was basically Donovan Mitchell, first and foremost, I want to say Utah is a great place to play basketball, and I hope that Donovan Mitchell does and continues to do whatever makes him happy, and I hope that Rudy Gobert continues to do whatever makes him happy as well. And that was his entire statement. He was not going to say anything more than that. He was not going to get caught up, which I think is smart. And then First Take deleted it. So Donovan Mitchell has been linked to the Knicks and to the Heat, which is really interesting considering Pat Riley just said something that I think really ties things in. This is what Pat Riley said. I think we're seeing this in the league where if you want to win a championship and you want to be a starter, you really have to become a two-way player today. What? Excuse me? Because that really shows me something. It shows me something that, one, let's be honest now, Tyler Hero's not going to get the bag. That's the direct shot at Tyler Hero. Like, absolutely not going to be a starter for Miami, not going to get the max money for Miami because this man doesn't play defense, to the point where he was a liability in the series against Boston. And Tyler Hero has said he wants to be a starter in Miami. But Nick Friedel noted that Riley's words are more important than ever in a broader scope for the league, because if you have a team of one-way players, you aren't going to win. So what does that mean, right? Besides Tyler Hero not getting the max to come off the bench and him not probably being in Miami, in regards to Spida, well, like, we know what Rudy Gobert said about him. He's not a two-way player right now. He's basically become a turnstile. So they're either not going to go after Donovan Mitchell, which has been the rumor, or they somehow think that they're going to turn Donovan Mitchell in to Drew Holiday, which I'm not so sure about. I love Pat Riley. He's a smart guy. I talked to Nick Nurse about Donovan Mitchell's defense. He said he does play defense, and I said when, and he did, and he's not responded. He's not responded to that message. Lots of things to watch for in free agency in Utah, but I think truthfully it's headed for a complete teardown and a complete rebuild.